Welcome to Session 7 of the APRISE AI Skills and Generative AI Training. This session focuses on responsible AI, how to gain the benefits of generative tools while protecting scientific quality, people, project information, and public trust. The central principle is simple. AI may assist the work, but accountability always remains human. By the end of this session, you should be able to recognize the main AI risks in research and innovation, protect claim integrity, safeguard personal and confidential information, and apply a practical quality control process. These outcomes are designed for daily APRISE tasks, including research, reporting, training, and public communication. Responsible AI is not an abstract compliance topic. An inaccurate or careless output can affect scientific credibility, public trust in alternative proteins, partner confidentiality, GDPR compliance, EU reporting quality, and the reputation of the whole consortium. One weak paragraph can travel quickly across reports, websites, and social media. Generative AI produces language by predicting plausible patterns. It can sound fluent and authoritative even when a statement is incorrect. Treat this fluency as a drafting capability, not as evidence. The safe operating model is AI for assistance, followed by human verification, contextual judgment, and formal approval where required. In an EU research project, responsible AI use combines several duties: lawful and ethical use, transparency, scientific reliability, protection of people and data, and clear human accountability. These duties apply throughout the workflow, from the information entered into a tool to the final content shared outside the project. This risk map shows why a single generic rule is not enough. Scientific accuracy, sustainability and health claims, confidentiality, personal data, bias, copyright, and fabricated citations each require a specific check. As we work through the session, connect every risk to an action. Verify, restrict, disclose, document, or seek approval. An AI hallucination is information that appears credible but is false, incomplete, or unsupported. Typical examples include invented papers, wrong statistics, fake authors, incorrect regulatory statements, and unsupported emissions or nutrition claims. The danger is not poor grammar. It is confident language that hides weak evidence. Food research has little tolerance for unverified claims because errors can influence scientific interpretation, regulation, communication, and consumer trust. A minor-looking mistake can be copied into later documents and become difficult to correct. The earlier we verify an output, the lower the downstream risk and cost. Before using AI-assisted scientific content, test both the claim and its evidence. Ask whether the source is reliable, current, peer-reviewed, or official, whether uncertainty and limitations are visible, and whether another researcher could reproduce the verification. If the answer is unclear, the statement is not ready for use. AI can help organize a search, but it should not become the source of record. Return to peer-reviewed papers, official EU documents, recognized authorities, such as EFSA, project-approved reports, published datasets, and high-quality reviews. Record the real source so another person can check the same evidence. Never assume an academic-looking citation exists. Models can invent titles, authors, journals, years, and even realistic DOI formats. Open the source, confirm the bibliographic details, and verify that it actually supports the claim. A citation is useful only when it is real, relevant, and accurately represented. Alternative proteins are scientifically and socially sensitive. Environmental performance, health effects, cultural acceptance, regulation, cost, and consumer trust all vary across products and contexts. AI tends to compress this complexity into a neat story. Responsible communication restores the conditions, comparisons, and limitations that the draft may omit. Absolute sustainability statements are rarely defensible. Replace words such as always, eliminates, carbon neutral, or no impact with a qualified statement that names the production conditions and evidence. The aim is not to weaken the message. It is to make the message accurate enough to withstand scientific and public scrutiny. Greenwashing occurs when environmental benefits are exaggerated, vague, or unsupported. AI can create it by omitting trade-offs, life cycle assumptions, comparison baselines, or the difference between future potential and current performance. Audit every environmental claim for scope, evidence, conditions, and limitations before publication. Health and nutrition claims require the same discipline. Alternative proteins are not one uniform category, and plant-based does not automatically mean healthier. Product formulation, processing, nutrient profile, dietary context, allergens, and individual needs all matter. Use cautious wording and involve the appropriate scientific or regulatory expertise. Responsible consumer communication avoids fear, moral superiority, and universal assumptions. People consider taste, price, tradition, health, convenience, religion, and trust in technology. A message can promote informed choice without presenting one dietary model as the only ethical or rational option. Regulatory status cannot be reduced to a simple AI-generated sentence. It may depend on the ingredient, process, intended use, claim, jurisdiction, and date. Treat regulatory text as orientation only. Confirm current requirements with official authorities and the responsible project or legal expert before acting. Scientific uncertainty is information, not a weakness. Phrases such as current evidence suggests, results depend on, or further research is needed help the audience understand the state of knowledge. Match the strength of the wording to the strength of the evidence, especially for emerging technologies and early-stage results. Personal data include more than names and email addresses. Photos, voices, interview responses, survey data, locations, and health or dietary information may identify a person directly or indirectly. Do not upload personal data to an AI service without a lawful basis, project approval, and an approved data handling environment. Confidential project information requires a similar boundary. Draft deliverables, partner business information, raw data sets, Meeting notes, patentable ideas, and commercial strategies may not be suitable for an external AI tool. When in doubt, stop and check the consortium rules before submitting the material. Unpublished research deserves special protection because premature disclosure can affect publication, intellectual property, and partner interests. Ask 5 questions. Is it public? Is it confidential? Could disclosure affect publication or IP? Has the consortium approved this use? If any answer creates doubt, use a safer, approved workflow. AI outputs may reflect dominant cultural assumptions and incomplete training data. In food research, that can distort views of consumer acceptance, dietary habits, affordability, religion, gender, or regional traditions. Bias review means asking who is represented, who is missing, and whether the language treats one group as the default. Food acceptance differs across countries, generations, income levels, traditions, and attitudes toward technology. Avoid statements about what consumers want unless the sample and geography are clearly defined. Local evidence and partner knowledge should correct the generic patterns suggested by an AI model. A further risk is overrepresenting urban, affluent, technology-friendly, or Western consumers. This can create an apparently positive market narrative while excluding practical barriers faced by other groups. Review examples, personas, and recommendations for social and geographic balance before using them in APRISE communication. AI-generated text and images can raise copyright and licensing questions. Check the rights attached to papers, figures, photographs, logos, templates, and training materials. A technically easy reuse is not automatically a lawful or project-approved reuse. Preserve provenance and obtain permission when required. AI can assist with summarizing a scientific paper, but the original paper remains the source. Respect access conditions. Avoid uploading substantial protected content when rights are unclear, and do not reproduce figures or tables without permission. Cite the original work and verify that the summary reflects it accurately. Partner materials may contain protected know-how, even when they look informal. Before using AI, confirm whether the material is public, confidential, partner-owned, reusable, suitable for training, and free of commercially sensitive details. Approval must come before processing, not after a draft has already been generated. AI-assisted content remains human-supervised work. The person or team is responsible for accuracy, ethics, citations, permissions, confidentiality, and final approval. AI should not be treated as an author or as the accountable decision-maker. Keep a clear human owner for every important output. Academic integrity requires transparency, human authorship, proper citation, and freedom from fabricated references or hidden plagiarism. Follow the rules of the institution, journal, funder, and project. A useful AI contribution does not remove the researcher's duty to explain methods and make the work verifiable. Disclose substantial AI support when the applicable rules require it. This may include drafting, translation, summarization, image generation, data interpretation, or literature screening. The declaration should be proportionate and clear enough for the reader to understand how AI contributed and where human review occurred. Human-in-the-loop control is the final protection before publication. Check facts, sources, tone, claims, ethics, personal data, confidentiality, bias, copyright, and regulatory accuracy. The reviewer should have the expertise and authority to challenge the draft, request evidence, and stop publication when necessary. Use this APRISE checklist as a release gate. An output should not move forward until accuracy, real sources, cautious claims, uncertainty, data protection, confidentiality, copyright, inclusion, and expert review are all addressed. A checklist is effective only when someone is responsible for completing and recording it. For repeated AI uses, move from an informal check to a simple risk register. Record the use case, input data, scientific and communication risks, confidentiality, GDPR, IP, mitigation, responsible reviewer, and approval status. This creates traceability and helps the consortium learn from recurring risks. Consider the example of an AI-drafted paragraph about plant-based proteins. The main risks are exaggerated sustainability, omitted nutrition or processing limitations, invented studies, and promotional tone. The controls are direct. Verify sources, add uncertainty, check claims with an expert, remove unsupported text, and approve before publication. Now apply the method. Review the AI-generated paragraph for quality, credibility, and compliance. Identify unsupported claims, scientific weaknesses, possible greenwashing, missing sources, confidentiality concerns, and the changes required before publication. Work individually first, then compare your findings with a partner or small group. Read the paragraph closely. Mark every absolute word, every factual assertion without a source, every prediction presented as certainty, and every reference to APRISE results that may be unpublished. Do not rewrite yet. First, separate the claims that need evidence from the language that needs qualification. Compare your diagnosis with this model review. The paragraph overstates environmental and health benefits, assumes consumer preference across Europe, predicts regulation, and implies unpublished project evidence. It also ignores culture, cost, product diversity, and regulatory conditions. A responsible revision must address both accuracy and context. This improved version demonstrates the correction strategy. It replaces certainty with conditional language, separates environmental, health, and acceptance questions, and requires verified sources and transparent assumptions. Notice that the result remains useful and positive while becoming more scientifically defensible. Use the same method on your own APRISE drafts. The key message is that AI should accelerate good work, not replace responsible judgment. Verification, transparency, confidentiality, GDPR awareness, scientific caution, and expert review are not optional additions. Together, they form the operating conditions for trustworthy AI-assisted work in APRISE. Before using or publishing AI-assisted content, perform 6 final actions. Check the output, verify the sources, protect sensitive data, remove exaggeration, disclose substantial AI use when required, and confirm the responsible human owner. This short discipline protects the project and improves the quality of the final result. Complete the Session 7 knowledge check now. Scan the QR code and answer the 5 questions. Each correct answer is worth 2 points, for a total of 10 points, with a suggested pass mark of 7 out of 10. The final reflection is required but is not graded. Use the check to confirm that you can turn each risk in this session into a practical control.